Okay, this is Frederick Douglass, part two. Um, so in part one, talking a little bit about why slave narratives came about, how they are like Romanticism but different from it, and what their basic strategies were. Oh, I should add, we're not on Douglass just yet, but just a quick preview of how Jacobs is doing something similar in terms of her strategy, her strategy for reaching the hearts, the conscience of her readers in the North, free white readers in the North. What she's trying to say is that women had certain roles to perform. Remember way back to when we were talking about Susanna Rouse and what women's roles were in the United States of America. Saw it in Fanny Fern too, right? But there were certain roles that women were supposed to play to make sure this country was going to survive as a country. And Jacobs basically is coming along addressing primarily women in the North. And she's trying to say, look, we're all women together now. Just because I'm black, I'm still a woman. And I know what the basic values and virtues of women are. And let me let you in on a little secret here, dear white women readers of the North. Slavery destroys womanhood. Slavery destroys everything that a woman is taught to strive for. So if you care about what it is to be an American and a Christian, but also a woman, you will recognize that slavery is an utter evil. Slavery destroys what it is to be a woman. Slavery destroys what it is to be a Christian. Slavery destroys what it is to be an American. And so if you're any or all of those, Christian, woman, American, you're going to join with me in this fight against slavery. Okay, so that's it in a nutshell. But let's dig it in terms of their purpose and their strategy. But of course, there's more to dig into here with Douglass. So, okay, well, the question you're all getting into, and I thought folks did a nice job talking about why reading mattered for Douglass, how it changed his life. And I was really glad a lot of folks gravitated to that passage over on 1185, I believe. 1185. And he's starting to learn about what reading is. He has a nice, she starts off being a nice woman and a slave master because she's teaching him how to read. This is an example of what I was saying about how slavery destroys womanhood. Remember from Republican motherhood, women were supposed to be educators and nurturers. We teach and nurture our children because they're going to grow into Americans and they have to be smart and responsible and able to think for themselves and think critically and all these things. Okay. This is exactly what Mrs. Auld is doing. She's being the true Republican mother. And she sees a sweet little boy, Frederick Douglass, and starts to teach him reading, right? And we know what happens. Her husband comes down on her and says, don't ever catch me, see you teaching how to read, blah, 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 right? You get it, okay? Comes down on her really, really hard. And from there on out, because she was from the North, she had never encountered slavery before, so she didn't know the rules. She's a minor character, but watch what happens to her after that speech. After that speech, she turns into a monster. She's a horrible woman, mean, cruel, vicious, everything else, right? You see what I'm getting at? This is an example of a true woman, a good Republican mother is Mrs. Auld, until slavery gets its, you see my filthy mitts here, until slavery gets its filthy mitts on her and corrupts her, turns her into a monster. Okay, slavery destroys womanhood. Okay, So let's look at this. But yeah, let's just look at this. This is 1185 towards the bottom. Very soon after I went to live with Mr. and Mrs. Auld very kindly commenced to teach me the ABCs. Mr. Auld found out what was going on and at once forbade Mrs. Auld to instruct me further, telling her, among other things, that it was unlawful, and this is